Hello dear friends, welcome back to my channel. In this video we are going to start from this video we are going to start Indian polity, and we'll be dealing with basic things that is asked in undergraduate examination for the purpose of entrance examination. So for that matter I have jotted down some key important information and videos from Indian polity that I'll be dealing with, and this is the first one video of that series. So let us begin. This is the very first video of political science. Okay, so the first question arises is what is a constitution? So they can ask me in a one sentence like question, right? So a constitution is a fundamental legal document it is that outlines the framework, principles, powers, and responsibilities of the government. It defines the right and duties of citizens and establishes the structure of governance to ensure justice, equality, liberty, and fraternity. So apart from this definition, you can also learn that a constitution is uh, something which limits the government. Why it is so? Because constitution is framed and constitution is crafted out for the sake of its citizens. You know, every democracy has a constitution, whether it is a written constitution or any unwritten constitution. So the basic aim and the basic philosophy and principle of democracy is for the people, by the people, and of the people. And that is the reason constitution is solely and only directed towards the welfare of citizens. And on this very note, on this very principle, it has limited the government. Okay, so it limits the government in favor of the citizens and the people of the country. Okay, next thing is feature of Indian constitution. So our constitution is the lengthiest constitution in the world. It is a fact you need to remember. Originally, we had 395 articles and 22 parts and 8 schedules, but currently we have 470 articles, 25 parts, and 12 schedules after multiple amendments. So, amendment means the addition or deletion or modification. Any sort of modification that is done in the constitution is called amendment. Okay, next one is written constitution. Our Indian constitution is a written constitution. So, the very famous example of an unwritten constitution is of Britain. In Britain, they have unwritten constitution. Okay, and ours is a written constitution. Written and codified also. Codified means the rules are well formulated and well set. Okay, third one is parliamentary form of government. So the parliamentary form of government is inspired by United Kingdom's model, which is like again Britannica model, where the prime minister is the head of the government. Okay, so prime minister is the head of the government and president is the head of the state or nation, you can say, head of the country. But head of the government is prime minister. Okay, president is also known as de jure and prime minister is also known as de facto. Okay, so uh, de facto means real executive. I mean the one who is having real powers, and de jure means it is a nominal post, or you can say nominal executive. Okay, right? So prime minister is the real one who runs the country, but the head of the country and the nation would be president, and he or she will be a nominal and ceremonial head of the country. Next one is federal structure with unitary bias. It means federal means a setup where the powers are divided. So in India, we have, like here it is written, division of powers between the center and the states. Okay, unitary bias means towards union, it is biased. Our constitution is biased towards union, which means it has given more powers to union than it has given to states. And that is exactly the what is the meaning of this term federalist structure with unitary bias. See, division of powers between the center and states, but with strong central authority during emergencies. Okay, let me clear this one because it is looking like a mess. Next one is sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So these are the values or the principles you can say, and these are enshrined and given in the preamble. Now, when we'll do preamble, I'll tell you in the detail that of these many principles, not all were originally put. Okay, so some have come after some amendments and all. So when we'll do video on preamble, then I'll deal with that. Next one is fundamental rights, which is under part 3. So it provides for 6 fundamental rights. Originally we had 7, but right to property was omitted again through an amendment, and that is 44th Amendment Act that happened in 1978. Okay, so I'll be dealing with that also very soon. Next thing is, for example, they have given right to equality, right to freedom, right to life and liberty, etc. etc. Next one comes directive principles of state policy. It is given under part 4, and it is nothing but a guideline, a set of guidelines for the state. It is not for the citizens but for the state to ensure social and economic justice. So there is one thing we need to remember, that if the question is asking about that DPSP ensures option 1 political justice, option 2 social justice, option 3 economic justice, and 4 socio-economic justice, then you already know that it is socio-economic justice. But what about political justice? So political justice gets ensured by nothing but fundamental rights. Okay, so you need to remember this. uh, I'll suggest you to make notes out of this video. It will be really helpful because whatever I'm telling you is a very key facts and very important facts. Next one is fundamental duties. So as I told you that DPSPs are guidelines for the state, in the same manner the constitution has given a guidelines for citizens as well, and that is fundamental duties. But originally it was not in the constitution. It was added through 42nd amendment, that was in the year 1976, and we have 11 duties for citizens. Okay, when we talk about DPSP, which is directive principles, as the name suggests, it is directive. It directs the government of a state policy. It directs the government towards policy making and all. So article 36 to article 51, we have DPSPs, and only 11 duties are given for Indian citizens. Okay, next one is Indian independent judiciary. Ours is judicial system which is independent. Supreme Court, High Court, and subordinate court ensure justice. Independent here means it is independent of any favor or any kind of what we call as authority. There is no authority over judiciary in our country, so it functions independently without any favor and without any ill will. Okay, and judicial review is a doctrine that protects the constitution. I'll be talking about this as well because it is very important. Next thing is single citizenship. So there are very different countries in which double and dual citizenships are allowed. But in Indian constitution, if I am a Indian citizen and if I go abroad some years down the line and I acquire the citizenship of let's say Denmark, So for that, I need, if I'll acquire the citizenship of this country, then automatically my citizenship of this country, which is India, will be terminated. So Indian citizens can have only one citizenship. Unlike the USA, India offers only one citizenship to all its citizens. Next one is emergency provisions. So there are three types of emergency that can be uh, put in our country. The first one is national emergency, which is put under Article 352. State emergency or president rule, which is put under Article 356 and 365. And there is a financial emergency that is put under Article 360. Okay, next one comes amendability. Ours is a constitution which is a blend of flexibility and rigidity. So our constitution is flexible, at the same time it is rigid, because some provisions are flexibly formulated, and some are very rigid, that can be amended as per the procedure in Article 368. So Article 368 in the constitution talks about the amendability or amendment in the constitution. Okay, so now these are the things which are like basic features and basic characteristics of our Indian Constitution. Now we'll talk about schedules of Indian Constitution. Why I put schedules? Because obviously there is many articles we cannot discuss, right? But while I will be coming up with another videos in the series, I will be telling you about important articles, just like I mentioned you here, here, and this one. So only the important ones will be looking at, but since the schedules were 12 only, so I thought I'll incorporate that in this video only. So here are those schedules of the Indian Constitution. The first one schedule is about names and territorial extent, which means the boundary of states and union territories. The mnemonic to remember is first the states are listed. First stands for the first schedule, and states means state ka naam, and territorial extent, which means boundary. So in this particular schedule, you have to remember that it does not only talks about states but union territories, which means UTs as well. Right. The second one is provision. Provision means salary and allowances. Here it is written: salaries and allowances of president, governor, speaker, judges, and CAG, which is comptroller and auditor general of India. You can call him CAG. Article 148. Okay, so second is salary setups, because the constitution cannot say all these people, cannot tell them to work before telling them what salaries they will be getting. Okay, so just like this, you can remember first salary will come, and then their oath for work and everything will come. So third schedule is about oaths and affirmations of union and state ministers, parliament, and state legislature members, Supreme Court and High Court judges, etc. Okay, third is for taking oaths. पहले salary बता दो and then talk about oaths. Fourth one is Fourth one is for seats. So allocation of seat in Rajya Sabha to the states and union territories. Seats in Rajya Sabha, it means that if there is state 1, state 2, state 3. For example, it is UP, it is Himachal Pradesh, and then it is MP. So there are three states. So how many members from this state will go and take a seat in Rajya Sabha? How many from there and how many from this particular state? So this is dealt in this fourth schedule, and not only states but union territories as well. Next one is fifth schedule. Fifth schedule is about tribes. So there are 10 states in our country where tribals live. So in that 10 states, sorry, uh, how the administration and control of those areas will be done, that is given under fifth schedule, because our constitution and our government does not want to disturb the traditional culture of tribals. They want to protect and preserve it, right? And for that, reason only they have created this fifth schedule, under which the areas in which they live in is known as scheduled areas, and the people are called the community is called scheduled tribes. So the area is how the area will be controlled and administered by the government, that is given under fifth schedule. Next thing is sixth schedule. It talks about administration of tribal areas in four states, because in those four states the constitution of ST community is a little bit more than other states. So that is why these four states require some another kind of rules and regulations, and that is the reason they have been given different altogether a different schedule, that is sixth schedule. So under sixth schedule we have four states, and you can remember it like this: ATM square. And since M north Indian states may north eastern states may, we have M stands for Meghalaya, Mizoram, Manipur, and what else? So so we just have to remember that ATM में money नहीं है. We don't have money in ATM. So leaving discounting Manipur, Meghalaya and Mizoram will be there in sixth schedule. Next one comes seventh schedule. So we had studied no the federal feature, which talks about division of powers. So powers means subjects. How many subjects are there on which you have to prepare for your examination? For example, for just in the similar manner, how many subjects are there on which the government has to legislate? Legislate means to make laws upon. So those subjects are divided, and there are three lists: one, two, three. The first one list is called union list, on which only union government will make laws. Second one is state laws, in which only state government will make laws. Concurrent list is about a list which is a common list under which union plus states both can make laws. Okay, so seventh schedule talks about three lists. Next one is eighth schedule. So next schedule talks about the official languages of India. So in India we have recognized around 22 languages which are official. Okay, so in that, one thing you have to remember that in eighth schedule under 22 official languages we don't have English as official language of India. Okay, when I'll come up with another video, then I'll talk about this schedule in detail, because 22 official languages haven't come originally, they have been added through amendments, so that we need to know. Can you imagine that Nepali is a language which is under 8th schedule, but English is not there? So this is a very unusual exception. Next one is ninth schedule. So it provides immunity to certain laws from judicial review. Okay. Hmm. Judicial review is a doctrine which talks about which is used by the judiciary, and under this doctrine the courts looks upon the legislations. Whenever I say, it means laws. The court looks upon the laws and the policies that government formulates, and the court uh, you know mm, what we can say, it checks, right? Check is the right word. It checks whether these laws and policies are in compliance with the principles, the basic principles and uh, rules of constitution. And if some laws are not complying with the basic principles and idea under constitution, then the court, especially the Supreme Court, can say that this particular law, number one law, is unconstitutional. Uh, it is wrong, it is unconstitutional, and just because it is constitutional, it cannot be implemented. Judicial review. Judicial means in judicial, something related to judicial, and review means it is reviewing. But what? It is reviewing the laws and policies and the guidelines formulated by the government. So this is how this doctrine works. If you want to know more about this doctrine, then I'll be telling you in detail. So, actually, the land reform acts were, formulated by the government. Land reforms, because in our country there was huge inequality, right? So, to tackle this thing, the government came up with land reforms just after the country got independence in around 1951, 1950. So, uh, in land reforms, what the government did is those people who were not having lands, there is person A and there is person B. Okay, so person A is having 5 acres of land, right? And person B is a sharecropper. Okay, sharecropper, or you can say is a very small farmer. He's so small that he is not even able to sustain his family from the produce that is being grown in his farm. So what government did is will take 1 or 2 acre from this person and it will give that land to this sharecropper. Okay, just to make some concessions and make some equality, just to bring some reforms in the land reform sector. So while the government was doing this, it thought that maybe these kind of acts will be challenged by the judiciary. So, to save these land reform acts from judicial review, this ninth schedule was created, and it was created in 1951. We already discussed now that we had originally only 8 schedules. So, ninth schedule was created in 1951. So, for this purpose only. So, this is ninth schedule. In 1951, who was the prime minister? Let me know in the comments. Okay. Next one is 10th schedule. It is also added, and it was added in 1985. And who was the PM? Again, let me know in the comments because it is important. Okay. So in 10th schedule, it is related to anti-defection law. Anti-defection means actually there was a case in 1980s where there was an MP from Bihar, and in one day he defected around 12 to 13 times or 14 somewhere. I'm missing the number, but more than 10 times he defected. Defected means firstly he is joining, maybe for example he is joining BJP. He's from BJP originally. So on that particular day he shifted his party and he went to INC, Indian National Congress. On the same day he came back to BJP. Same day he's going back to Aam Aadmi Party. Again he's going back to INC. Again he's coming back to AAP. So these kind of things are called defections. Okay, changing parties very frequently. So he did that. So to curb these kind of practices, this law and this particular schedule was added in the constitution. It talks about that if there is any MP or an MLA who is doing so, will be disqualified. Okay, so this is about anti-defection law. Next one is 11th schedule. 11th schedule is also a result of amendment which was done in 1992. Again, 12th schedule also was brought in 1992. So you have to tell me again who was the PM. Who was the PM? So 11th schedule was brought for panchayat. So before that we had this idea of Panch Pradhan, but that was a very informal thing that was happening in our villages and all. So it had no legal backing. But through this amendment and with this schedule, 11th schedule, the government has given legal backing to panchayat system. Okay. And this panchayat system, in which is a government at village level, is known as local self government. And you should be feeling very proud that it is the ours is the only country in the world which is having a third tier of government, which is this one, local self government. Okay, union government, then state government, and then local self government. So India is the only country which has this local self government. So for panchayat bodies, the division of power is such that 29 subjects have been given to them on which they can legislate. Okay, next thing comes for 12th schedule. It talks about municipalities. So panchayats is in rural areas, and municipality is for urban areas. So in urban areas there are 18 subjects that is given to them, and they have the responsibility on those subjects. They have the power to formulate laws on that. Okay, so sorry, this was the schedule that I wanted to talk about. So there is one mnemonic that I have formulated here just to remember this one. So stories of salaries, oaths, seats, tribal powers, and languages jump to legislation for panchayats and towns. Okay, stories of salaries. So fun, stories mean as stands for states. Salaries, then oaths, then come seat, then come tribal powers, which means fifth schedule. Then again tribal के अंदर you can say fifth and sixth schedule. Sixth talks about only four states, ATM square, and fifth talks about 10 states that we just saw earlier. Then seventh schedule, which talks about lists. Then eighth, which talks about languages, which is already written over here. And then ninth, legislation on what? Mm, this ninth schedule. Okay, sorry. I'm really sorry. The J stands for judicial review. J stands for judicial review, which talks about ninth schedule. And then this two. T stands for 10th schedule, which is anti-defection law. And this legislation for panchayats and town. Panchayat means panchayat and towns means municipalities. Okay. So if you can remember, just remember like this, and it will be then easier for you to tackle questions on this schedule. So this was the video, guys. Let me know if you like this video or not, and if you have any suggestions and any feedback for me, because I'm not a professional video maker. I'm just trying to help out people, and that is why I have made this video. So if you have any suggestion and feedback, then please do it, write it in the comment, and I'll certainly work upon that. Thank you so much for watching this. I'll see you in the next video very soon.